We've been discussing due process in the news a lot lately, and there's a lot of questions as to what does it actually mean, who's entitled to it, and first and foremost, everyone in the United States is entitled to due process. And due process is just basically having your day in court. There are some people who, if they are detained by ICE, they kind of already had their day in court and therefore would be removed from the United States. For example, a lot of people went through the court process, got a final order of removal, and if they had any interaction with ICE afterwards, then yeah, they would be removed from the United States. And this is, if they had their entire case heard and the judge ultimately denied their claim, or if they were removed, or they didn't show up to their immigration court hearing, and as a result, they received an automatic deportation order, which is called an in absentia removal order. And removal orders don't really expire by law, they go on forever. So in case ICE ever has an interaction with someone who has a final removal order, then yes, they would be removed from the United States. But ICE doesn't have those resources. So later on down the line, if someone else has the ability to obtain a green card by any means, whether it is a marriage or a U visa, they might be able to return to court, open up their court proceedings, terminate the removal order, and then terminate immigration court in general so that they can continue to get a green card. But there's also something that Congress passed called expedited removal, and these are for people who have been in the United States for less than 2 years. Now, this wasn't always the case. It used to just be 14 days, but Trump expanded it to 2 years. So if they've been in here in the United States for less than 2 years, they could be deported without a court hearing, with an exception being if they claim, fear and then have passed a credible fear interview. Now, for everyone who wasn't in the groups that I just mentioned, they're entitled to their day in court. And as such, they can go through immigration court. Now, some have to be detained. There are people who are subject to mandatory detention, but there are also people who can, get out on bond or with an ankle monitor or paroled out because, ICE doesn't have the resources to maintain everyone. And there are some people who don't really have a good case and as a result, just opt for voluntary departure. So therefore, there's no deportation order on their record. And then at immigration court, it is you, maybe your attorney, the one isn't guaranteed for you, unfortunately, and the prosecutor and a judge. The prosecutor is an ICE attorney. The judge and the prosecutor both work for the Department of Justice, so it kind of sucks just because there is no real impartial wall between them. They're both kind of on the same team. But people get out of court in one of three ways. Either they win their court case and a judge just gives them the relief, or the prosecutor drops the case. The judge finds that the person isn't eligible to be removed, which, also a good result. Or third, the person receives a deportation order, but it's not like criminal court where they find you guilty and you're automatically removed, at least not right now. But, with how things are going, that is subject to change.